Hey!
We are back.
Back after an amazing weekend away. So naturally we didn't jump on. We thought about it, but then...
Service was average.
And we weren't probably in the best space to do it, so...
We're not even tired though. Not even tired.
No, we're good. It's been an amazing week. I think we've driven for 12 hours. We've been on the road for 12 hours today.
Yeah. Every bit.
Every bit of it. So it's been an amazing journey. I just did a post about it, so just go check that one out because it was a lot of fun. But as I do on the weekends, I don't always jump on here and do the lives as we're expected to do inside the challenge, but I do things my way and I love standing for that. So we decided we'd smush them all. Freedom! So spiritual avenger, I should be like just human avenger. So we're going to collaborate them all, we're going to smush them all together. And so the first topic, that was the day 19, which was meant to be Friday, was collaboration. And, you know, our depiction of that, our thoughts about that and whatnot, which we did discuss while we were driving. And we were like, this is a pretty cool little one to talk about. This is a cool one to start bringing about. Because for everyone, collaboration is different. And we're actually going to bring two of them together because we think they actually kind of interlace quite well.
They'll all tie in.
They will. Hey, Susie. Hey, guys. So collaboration for me has been quite interesting because sometimes you'll get into collaboration for a certain reason. Like you get like a really good idea with someone, you're like, yeah, we should so do that thing, and then you get passionate and inspired, and it's really great to bounce ideas and have a team or have someone around you. And I think collaboration can be really important, but it can also remind you just how good you are at doing things in your own vision. And I think there's a really cool part of self-development, self-growth, when you can also do that with other people and know when to and when not to.
There's some really interesting points there. I feel like collaboration is not just about people you work with. It's about people you share your energy with. It's about people you're in relationships. Essentially, we're collaborating, if that's a word, together. I feel like possibly the biggest part about a successful collaboration, and not everything has to be successful either. So there's two parts there. First of all, collaboration can be good and bad. We say it's good or bad, but it can just be a situation without drawing too much into it and getting too excited or drawing to whether it's good or bad or getting too deep on it. The point is you've got an opportunity for growth in every situation, regardless of what we put on it. But if you want it to be a successful collaboration, probably the best thing to start looking at would be conscious collaboration. Reason being is, as much as we get involved in business partnerships, in friendships and all of these things, if you're not wary of projecting your energy or not aware of the other side's intention or the way they conduct themselves,
projection,
it can make things a little bit difficult. So when I say with the idea of conscious collaboration, we don't need to rush into everything. You've only got the rest of your life to do everything anyway, and that could be right now. So that's an interesting point, that right now could be that last moment. There's no need to rush it. If you don't get it achieved right now and you die right now, that's okay. If you do, that's also good. But the point with it being conscious is maybe sitting down with the person you're going into this, developing some communication, having a good chat about it, and being really aware of the things that can come up for the collaboration in general. If you want to go into business with someone, I'm using this for an example, it would be handy to know how many people are in this business arrangement, even if it's just the two of you. The reason I say this, if you're conscious about it, if someone was to take me on as a business partner, unawares to them, or it could be they're actually taking Sharna on as well, and my children, because these are people that are impacting my life and my thoughts. So if you're moving into a business arrangement where you think, oh well, you know, back in the days when we were 18 and being able to do whatever we wanted, where all right, our business arrangement's going to require us to be up late at night, be doing this, or be able to drop and go, you set yourself up to fail in that respect. So I feel like clear communication and a conscious conversation around what's the word for it? What's achievable, and the way to draw it in a state that could possibly work best for all parties.
And I think in that conversive piece is the whole understanding of projecting into the future of what could happen and scenarios and situations to discuss. So I think it's about being really willing to be open and willing to be aware of what could be and future pace those things with an awareness of what to do in those situations. But I think the next topic I think is really perfect was that they wanted us to talk about what is your greatest weakness. And in collaboration, it's obvious about sitting there going, yes, you want someone with a like-mindedness, but you also want to find someone that does things that you may not do so well. Find their genius and your genius and collaborate, bring them together. Find what works for them and how you guys can amplify each other, whether that's in a relationship, whether that's in a business, whether that's in a family unit, or a work social setting. It's how can you collaborate with your greater aspects to match or amplify or nurture or whatever someone else's greatest assets.
Well, there's something in that as well that I think, and we've been talking about this in the car a lot today, as we've had a little bit of spare time, believe it or not. Most people surround ourselves with people that agree with you. We collaborate with people that think the same as you. We surround ourselves with people that support your way of thinking. Why do we do this? First of all, it's a bit of a stroke to the ego when somebody agrees with you simply.
Herd mentality.
Yeah. But isn't there some beauty and some magic in being able to have a conversation? It doesn't matter what it's to do with, whether I was involved in open minding for years, whether we're talking about different ways to go open minding or whatever it happens to be. But there's also some magic in something where somebody thinks completely the opposite. Not to debate, not to disagree, not to argue, but to have a conscious conversation. And I'm going to give you the dialogue of how a conscious conversation is going to go. Sharna, I really think that those shorts you're wearing are absolutely disgusting. That's the way I feel about it. What is the way you feel about it? The reason that dialogue starts off like that is when we have a conversation that's not what I think of shorts, by the way, but
that was not what you said earlier.
when the conversation, whatever happens to be this conversation, my feelings, my thoughts that I'm putting here, this isn't an attack, this is an argument. But if you come from the other side with the conversation that starts something like this, yeah, but that's not a conscious conversation anymore. The conscious conversation comes from the other side where you go,
interesting.
Yeah, that's an interesting sort of thought that you've come to there. How did you get to that? Can you explain more? Can we go a little bit deeper? I'm interested to understand
why
and grow from there. So when it comes to that conscious collaboration or your weaknesses, you can say to your business partner, your relationship partner, your friends, your family, all right, I'm feeling this. This is the way I want to take the relationship, the business, the friendship, whatever else it is. This part of it doesn't seem to be working for me, and whatever else has happened there in your friendship, partnership, business can say, is it because you've been doing it wrong, or is it because you've been not taught the right way to do this? And I feel like if you both honour a space and give each other the chance to grow, rather than I'm right, you're wrong, there's no middle ground, you've got a better chance of moving through. And I like that way of conscious conversation rather than the majority of conversations we have start from this is my agenda and your agenda straight away is to answer me, not to understand me.
And I think something that everyone, while we're on that, something that everyone should make time to watch, and you can jump on YouTube and find this. It is a bit long, so take your time to get through it. Is nonviolent communication. Next level on understanding communication and the words we use and the way we do things. Remember that no one can make you feel anything. That is your choice.
It's interesting actually to use that non-violent conversation. I put some stuff up for sale on the internet recently, and as much as I hate doing it, I thought I'd give it a try. I always like things to be for sale with a price, and I went, no, I'm open to offers. And I wrote in the conversation, please throw me any offer you want. I promise I won't be offended. I've got an idea, but I'd like to obviously get my highest amount. But with the idea of I will not be offended, say whatever you want. If I say, oh look, I was feeling like it was worth a lot more, let's play with it from there. But if you can start a conversation which is, look, throw me an offer. If someone comes in and says $10, I can go, look, thanks for the offer, but yeah, it wasn't what I was looking for. I reckon it's worth more. In that way, you're not disrespecting anyone. You can create a safety zone for someone to come and go, well, maybe I can get a good deal. Maybe I can. Maybe I think it's worth more. You've got a place to play there rather than coming out and attacking that situation.
I think seek to find humour, awareness, balance, and presence with each other is really, really important with that. So the point of that one was actually about saying, what is your greatest weakness? Which we both kind of felt that there was we united on the fact that all humans have the same weakness. Because both of us were like, I'm like, what's my greatest weakness? My love of chocolate, my love of push bikes. Like, I don't know, my bad spelling. Like, I could say all those, our bad grammar.
My grandma, no, she's gone.
So, all those sorts of things. Like, you can sit there and say they're weaknesses, but I think that's just characteristics. That's just part of our charm, to be honest. I love when people tell me I can't spell. It's actually quite funny.
Your weakness, when we come to these things, essentially we're defining ourselves by content again.
Mm-hmm. This is all noise. These things are all noise. Can't spell, these sorts of things. It all comes down to a root essence and a root cause.
And everything, and this is why we've come to this idea, is everything matters, but not much. So your poor spelling, the way I leave my shoes at the door, or whatever it happens to be, that's details. It's details that don't really matter, and I think that's why we come to probably the majority of us fail to see ourselves as enough. No, this is detrimental. This isn't
all of us,
something
like everyone of you
detail.
listening would know that there is at some point you would agree your greatest weakness would be that you feel you're not enough. That's at the root cause of so much that is in society that is wrong or weak or less than or needs improving or a lack of awareness. These things are all from our not enoughness.
And there's some interesting points with this, and we've said this 1,000 times. You are enough. Once you discover who you really are, once you find out that deep down in your essence you're damn well perfect, you are enough, and you can understand that, you're going to grow so much more and be able to embrace everything a whole lot more. We were listening to Sadhguru on the way in today.
I've got to share some of that, guys. I'll share that on my wall later.
Absolutely inspirational. They call him a mystic because literally he is someone that speaks from pure consciousness. And something he said, and this comes back to that being enough part, and I just sort of went, oh, I love it. He was talking about success, and something he said was, people say they're successful when they have more or they're doing more than the person beside them or their neighbour or whatever else. That's not success. That's a damn sickness.
Yes.
Because what you're saying then is somebody has to have less or be less than you are. So there's this part there that's coming from your ego, again, your ego, and the ego is, to me, something that makes you feel inferior or superior. So the point with that, sorry, Dolly.
No, you keep going.
The point with that is we're coming to this spot that's not from success. It's actually a sickness, and ego can be a sickness. There's a healthy balance of ego as well.
Balance.
But the point with any of that is it's bringing you away from the not being enoughness. So there's again a balance to strive, to grow, to do more, to be whatever else, but you're already doing enough. You already have enough. We keep buying into this consumerism because we're consistently sold to, and we're using our small minds to do the thinking for us when we go, oh geez, I need a bigger TV, I need a new pair of shoes, I need a whatever else. You don't actually need any of that.
No. And I think the second point I had to that was, why do you see it as a weakness? And I agree, I can see that there are parts of that are a weakness, but and that is this continuous thing. Like, this is what this has come up in topics in different ways, and I love the way all these topics have brought different elements of things out. But the other thing is like, this not enoughness has led to this unquenchable thirst in life. Yeah. Where at the core essence of everything, we've both said this, if we lost everything tomorrow and the only thing we could do was walk down the beach tomorrow and be grateful for the sand between our toes and take a deep breath and stretch and breathe and move and see the sun on our skin in a healthy body, that's success. Like, even if we had no money and nothing, like, guys, we need to be real with ourselves. There's not enoughness as a part of society's element of keeping us stuck in this balderdash.
Yeah.
Like, we are enough. Because, and this is what I do with the genetic work that I do with clients, is understanding your biology was created so unique. There is no one, not even a biological twin, that is the same as you. Like, not a soul that is the same as you, my darling. So, this not enoughness, remember, you are the only biological version of you. That should mean that you are enough.
That's just
you were created so unique. You were created so marvelous and magical that the universe, God, ether, whatever you believe in, created you unique. human. So I was going to use this other word. So please, like, understand that this constant rigmarole of not enoughness, which is what we've depicted as being the hierarchy of weakness in society. If we actually step into that space of understanding we are enough, we might actually be able to halt some of this generational trauma, this generational addiction to consumerism.
To
we
all of
understand
those
we are
things.
enough. Hi Holly, hey.
I feel like there's so much of this that people don't really understand because we don't do enough soul searching. We don't spend the time. We don't put the effort in. When was the last time you sat still and closed your eyes for 5 minutes without going to sleep? When was the last time you quietened your mind and closed all those tabs in your head? Now, the reason...
Don't look at my computer.
In your head, not in the computer. The reason I say that is stopping, slowing down and stilling the mind. You're going to come to realise that you're a whole lot damn more than your body and you're a whole lot more than your mind. You are the universe in a static motion, as Rumi would say, which is everything. And the reason, it's very simple to understand this I'll simplify it for you. You exist. You exist in space. And so does everything else on the planet exist in space. Which means you are as much part of it as it is a part of you. You're not just a drop in the ocean, you're the entire ocean in a drop. Complete connectedness. And you have access to everything on this planet because you breathe in the same space that everything exists in. So you're actually connected at a deeper level than you could ever imagine because you are a damn god. You're so much more than you can ever imagine. And the only thing is, our stupid little ego keeps playing us down, this small-mindedness, this small poor me, because it loves to feed on that. It loves to think...
Which the hierarchy of society knows.
And
we're not the only ones that know this.
No, that's exactly right. The interesting point is, when I say you're enough, I'm not here saying you're perfect. I'm not here saying you're better than me or better than king, queen. Actually, I'm saying you're better than them. But I'm not saying that you're better than the person beside you. We're all equal. All of us. Every damn person that was given breath to is equal. We're part of that same energy and same spirit, same soul. We're all part of that. We're so damn connected.
Yeah.
But that's not from ego saying that we're all at the same level. That's not better, that's not higher. That's exactly on the same damn level playing field.
So actually we could quickly lace it before we go to the other two. What we spoke about we don't need more millionaires.
Yeah. So we had a chat about it today with another friend, and the conversation was, what about schooling and the way the world goes, and what's being involved, and what are the kids being taught? And I think that schools are teaching consumerism, they're teaching financial success, they're teaching you to be another cog in the wheel. And essentially that's the school's job, and it's your job as a parent to give your children some balance. Nevertheless...
Sit under that hierarchy.
Yeah. Nevertheless, we do not need more millionaires on this planet. It's not what we need.
Nope.
So, good luck to you if that's what you think's going to make you happy, and I can promise you it won't. I don't give a shit whether you think whether having $1 million is going to make you happy. Bad news, it won't.
It won't.
It's not. Having the Ferrari, having those things is not going to make you happy. Balance. It is easier apparently crying in a Ferrari than it is on a push bike. But the money is temporary. All of those things, the world does not... It can all
vanish. It can all vanish overnight.
And it's going to. You're not taking it with you when you die. The point is, this earth does not need more millionaires. It doesn't need more movie stars. It doesn't need more Botox Bettys from the Gold Coast. It doesn't need more of that. What we need is more compassion. We need more kindness. We need more love. We need more people. And
more heart-to-heart connection.
Yeah, more conscious connection and collaboration. We need good people to do some bad things and some bad people to do some good things.
Let's even the playing field. And we're not saying like we're...
I'm not encouraging criminalistic activities.
This might be a conversation for once this 30 days is finished. I'd love one of you to remind us about this. Because there's a massive amount of a beautiful wormhole we could go into with that. But essentially, remember, we don't need more millionaires. We need more heart coherence. We need more awareness and awakenedness into the world.
Awareness and awakenedness, and we need that. We need things to change. There's not one person on this planet that's going to say that we don't want this planet different. That every single one of us want this planet to be better.
We want our next generation.
And if you don't, you're making a mistake.
Yeah. The next part that they wanted us to cover was a favourite movie cartoon used as a metaphor. Now, you came up with a movie.
Yeah.
Do you want to go with yours first?
Okay.
Mine's cute.
Oh, because yours
Mine's
cute.
Mine's so cute.
So one of the not so popular movies with Bruce Willis in it, Morgan Freeman, Lucy Liu, a few of the big actors in there, was called The Wrong Man. Very beginning of the movie, Bruce Willis makes a little statement and he says, "There was a time." And he goes, the gentleman says, "What do you mean?" He looks and goes, "It's 2:30. And he says, "You misunderstood the question. There was a time." And he says, "I don't quite understand." He says, "Have a look at this lady over here. She's pretty damn sexy." And he goes, "Mate, she's 70. He goes, "That's today. There was a time." My point with that, and what I love about that, is every single thing has a time and a place in balance. We've been coming across to this because there is a time for anger. There is a time for compassion. There is a time for you to be fiery. There is a time to fight. Don't let the world, and this is what you keep hearing in your schools and your socials and everything, don't fight, talk to the authorities. Don't fight, talk to your teacher. I'm sorry, there is a time to fight. There is a time to be happy. There is a time for everything. It's
There's
a balance.
There's a time to be submissive.
Absolutely.
All the things.
Okay.
There's a time for every element.
A slight detour.
Hashtag slight detour. There is a time and a place for everyone to be in all those elements in balance. And it's also, like we said earlier, about the heart coherence. Coming from this heart space, there is a time to fight and there is a time to be all in and all involved. There is a time to reach to the bottom of your soul and find what really sits there. There's a time to be glamorous. There's a time to be pretty. There's a time to be masculine and feminine. It's all relevant.
And I feel like the whole point with all of this is to find the balance. And the best way to find the balance is to become more present. If you sit with that presence, if you take some time and go, "I'm being overwhelmed," this happened to me over the weekend trying to do a couple of things, I need to just go and reset. Stop trying to push through half of this stuff. We push because we have been told that's what we need to do. Sometimes you just need to step back and go, "You know what, this isn't working for me right now." It's not to say it won't, right now. And that's the balance. There is a time for everything. So that's my metaphor on that.
Your metaphor? Mine, as some of you who know me well would guess, mine's Finding Nemo. And there is so much in Finding Nemo of this little fish who was born to a family who there was a lot of fear based upon someone's personal experience. And then he was born with what someone would depict as a deformity or a weakness or a inability to do the same as everybody else. And of course, as if you've seen the Nemo movie, he goes off on this grand adventure by eventually blowing up at his dad and going, "No, I will do this and I will show you."
You think you can do these things, but you can't, Nemo.
It's my favourite bit. Actually, no, it's not. It's Dory with Just Keep Swimming. There's so many elements of that movie that I'm just like, oh my word, yes. You know, Dory, two elements to her, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. There's one element of that is the passive, unembodied following that we can do and relentless pushing. But then there's the other side you could take from that with making the best of it, finding the innocent, childlike glory and sparkle and wonder in the moment, even if it is only 3 seconds. And
throw some shades.
And that's not where I was going, but anyway, every 3 seconds.
Okay. Stop looking at me when you say 3 seconds.
So, is leading into that and remembering that, you know, the glory of that moment, this moment, and this moment, and this moment, and taking what you will with those doughy eyes and seeing perspective of how grandiose each marveling moment is, how marvelous each conversation is, looking at each human in your life and going, wow, you're amazing. how'd you get here? What are you feeling? What are you thinking? And really connecting on that pure, innocent, wanting to know kind of intrigue.
Actually, before I go too far, before we get carried away, the point of intrigue, I love this. When you're intrigued about something, that leads you to ask questions, that leads you to stop, listen, think, not react. So reaction is something that comes from a deep state which is not present. It comes from this state where you're firing and prepared with your own agenda. So if you attempt life with a sense of intrigue and wonder, like children do, the world becomes a better place. You ask better questions. It's not just the standard why is a grass green, but why. We get frustrated with that.
Children don't just sit there and take things. They go, why? Why? It's only when their parents.
We train it out of them.
I'm not saying yeah we do. We train this out of them. I'm not pointing at anybody, but I'm just saying, like, as parents, how many people would sit there and go, just because I say, because I told you to. A child will sit there and go, but why? But why? But why? And in our busyness and lack of presence, we will fail to meet them where they're at, in their wonder, in their splendor, in this curiosity, and give them a wonderful conversation of life.
And there's an interesting point there, and I think quite often we say it because it just is. Generally what I've found is we're all very uncomfortable with saying things like, because actually I don't know the answer to that. Yeah. You'll see this in a lot of cases when people say, I believe something. We say we believe because none of us like the ego and saying, the way I think is this, but to be honest, I don't know the truth. That's what we're saying when we say belief. And it's generally from an ego of, no one wants to say, I don't know. If your child asks you, why is the grass green? You're like, I actually, to be honest, let's look into this. Let's discover, because I don't have the answer to give it to you here. Maybe that's a way of actually learning more yourself, but it's attempting from a place of intrigue to be able to say, to be honest, I don't know the answer to that. These days we have Google, we can look this up, we can find you the answer, and that creates a better collaboration, a better conscious conversation, and a better connection too.
I learned so much of that from my older sister. Kudos, Mandy, 5 children. Whew. But she's like a goddess, like she just is magic. But I remember one of my nephews who's now about to turn 18, so I'm loving that I'm going to tell this story because he was a pretty cool kid. He still is a pretty cool kid. But I remember he came and she was telling me, she's like, he came in the other day and he goes, Mum, so dinosaurs were here, right? And he goes, but Mum, then the dinosaurs died out and they vanished. And then humans came. And he goes, but Mum, when we die out, what's next? Like, are you serious? I think he was like 6 or 9 at the time. Like this kid, like the marvel of a childlike mind of curiosity and wonder. And she did the right thing. She just went, shit, mate, like I don't know. But I don't know, I guess it'd be another species. I guess it would be, whatever. And she sat there and went, I don't know, but let's have a discussion about that. What do you think's going to come? Like, she was, for a woman with 5 children, she still manages to be incredibly present most of the time.
It's a secret of continuing with wonder and intrigue.
But there's so much more out of the Nemo movie, but I think I gave you enough out of that. Finding Nemo has a bajillion metaphors for life and how we could or should be doing things. And if you actually look at both sides of the coin with each and every one of those metaphors within that movie, you will see the positive aspect and then potentially quite a harsh, brash, negative aspect as well. So I think it's remembering we always need to look at both sides of those coins.
Well, and that comes back to that point of the conscious collaboration as well. There's a side you need to look at it as everything, and unfortunately, it's probably best, and there's more growth than looking at the side you don't like. There's more growth in being challenged in the way you think rather than somebody agreeing with it. Agreeing with it only confirms the way you're thinking already, which is probably wrong. It's that we all should actually take a fair chance there that we're not always right. I mean, it's.
I like not being right. I might get hurt and wounded for a small time. But I'll 99% of the time look at it and look, I've had discussions with so many friends, and some friends will be like, I have that, and then I go into blame with everybody else, and I can't help but blame everybody else, and all I do is find the reason as to why I'm right. And I was like, that's cool, but that's an egotistical way of doing things. And we all have that moment where we're like, no, she did it, no, he did it, no, it wasn't my
Take
fault.
some ownership for yourself.
But when you can really sit there and look at that aspect of all elements and go, well, how did this work and how did I create this? How did this happen and what part can I own in this?
Yes.
Therein lies your growth. Therein lies your reflective component to knowing that there is an equal side to everything and you never ever know what the other person's thinking or feeling, nor should you.
It's not your job to understand what someone else is feeling, and something that a lot of people, and this takes a lot to understand, you're also not responsible for the way anyone else feels. That is not your responsibility, because no matter what you do, somebody can take it the wrong way. However, if you attempt it consciously, if you try and do things more consciously from a place of love, from a place of kindness, then you can at least sleep a little bit easier at night too.
I'm going to wind this up with a really cool twist on this last one.
Okay.
The last one was meant to be, what's your elevator pitch? I'm curious to see who's finished watching this whole live. So I would like to know, if you've ever been a few moments with Clint or I, what do you think we do? What do you think we stand for? What do you think it is that we are about?
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting conversation.
Because I know that when we get into conversation with people, I'm like, blah, 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 blah. So tell me, like, what do you guys think that we do?
Well,
Elevator pitch me in reverse.
I'm not quite sure how that works.
Elevator pitch me. How have I elevator pitched you?
And probably the definition, which that's...
It is when you're in the elevator with someone and you've got from the bottom floor to the top floor, which is usually about 2-3 minutes maximum, and they go, what do you do to get across your most impactful, passionate...
Quite often it's to do with sales.
It is fully sales.
A lot
hey
of
guys,
cases like
there's
that.
a lot
We're
of
not
NLP
really
that
all
covers...
about that.
Yeah, a lot of NLP covers sales. And that's why probably the both of us are like, elevator pitch, ugh, yucky. But that's because we're both in a really good position at the moment where we're not in that zone. Like I've said in a couple of lines, I think there was day 3 or day 4 where they were like, sell to them or something like that. And I was like, many of you know what I do. Many of you have known what I've done. And I'm in this position at the moment where I'm not out there putting out a program, but I am still working with people. So if you're in that space where you want to work with me, do so.
Yeah.
So, again, what do you think it is that we do? I'm going to turn it back around.
Perfect. Ask questions, do your thing. There's a comment box for a reason.
Yeah. Get down there.
And I'm sure you can reply to all of those.
Thanks. But we're going to go jump in the spa.
Peace out.
Peace out, guys. Love yous.
Happy Easter.
Oh, yeah. Happy Easter.